Welcome to Good Mythical More. We're still working with inflation, but we're doing the opposite. We're taking items that cost a certain amount and we know the item and the amount back in the day. Yes. And now if you take into account inflation, what would those expensive items cost now? And then what do they actually cost now? And is it even more than inflation?
I feel like that's gonna be great.
I feel like it's gonna be great.
I'm really trying to get in touch with my feelings.
Oh, I think that's gonna take more than a more.
I feel like we can do a 10-word story.
I gotta get in touch with my mouth.
And here's the thing, let's make it a story this time. We've gotten the mechanics down, we know how to do it, we don't even think about it. This time it's a story, meaning that there's a subject that does something.
Okay.
Like a story you might tell about a guy named Bill.
The
Hammer
was angry
wrestler.
So
he
decided
to
take
his
hammer
and
sing
a
song
about
it.
It
was
like
angels
and
demons.
Sounded. Let's sing the song.
It was like angels and demons.
And
sounded
like
this. Oh, my hammer. That's 3 words.
Oh, my hammer.
I love you.
Swing.
Where are the demons?
What?
Swing.
Swing. No. That's when the demon came in.
You know, I feel like that's the best we've ever done. Bill the Hammer was an angry wrestler, so he decided to take his hammer and sing a song about it. Was like angels and demons and sounded like this. Oh, my hammer, I love you. Swing. I thought you said two. I thought you said two. That's why it didn't make sense. You said you.
There was a wrestler that was called the Hammer.
Oh,
that's Greg.
Jim the Hammer? Greg the Hammer.
Greg.
Valentine.
Greg.
Yeah, we know. See, that's the era we know. The early bird, the 80s guys.
Carney, did we ever talk about the fact that we were on Legends House?
We've never talked about that fact. I'd like to talk about it with you.
It's pretty awesome.
Link and I were on Legends House, and with Mean Gene,
Hillbilly Jim,
Okerlund,
Rowdy Roddy Piper, may rest in peace.
Was the $1 Million Man there?
No.
What did we do? Oh, they made
local commercials.
They made commercials, and we helped them make commercials.
No, we judged their commercials.
We judged their commercials. Oh, we just showed up just for one day to judge the commercials. That's right.
Because speaking of Batman, what was the original Batman's name?
Adam West.
Adam West. Adam West came in to that reality episode, and he judged their local commercials.
And apparently,
and they filmed it.
It was so bad. He did such a bad job, and it was so awkward. They were like, "We have to reshoot this. Let's get those guys that make the commercials on the internet." So we were a backup to Adam West.
And because Adam West had already picked the winner,
we had to pick the same one.
We had to pick the same one.
We had already done the prize.
It was all rigged because they had already shot the prize. So
I'm
all
glad
they did
you're here because I would have forgotten all that.
It's like we replaced Adam West.
They did not have NDAs back then.
Right, you're right.
No.
They were both horrible. I mean, both of them were like what you would expect if a bunch of pro wrestlers tried to make commercials, and how ill-advised every single decision was.
I remember that there were yard flamingos involved in one of them. Or maybe that was what they were selling. One of them was selling yard flamingos.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to sell them, and Palm Springs is the best place to get them. Square root of 45 is
something that doesn't really make sense.
6.708239.
Probably a never. What do they call a number that never stops repeating? Irrational?
And
I forgot math, man.
A long one. A longie. Okay, Stevie, give us a item and a price.
So to clarify,
You
We're
think what I said
using-
needed to be clarified?
We're using the CPI inflation calculator, the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPIU.
Okay.
U.S. city average series for all items, not seasonally adjusted.
So by clarify, you mean bore us to
Yeah.
tears?
Well, no. So you're guessing with inflation and not added other things and capitalism, how much these things would cost now. But then I'm also going to tell you how much these things cost now for reals.
So,
but
we're
you're
taking
not
away
guessing.
inflation and taking away profits.
You're just guessing like if I were to apply inflation to this, how much should it cost? You're not guessing any other factors or how much it actually costs.
That's not going to impact.
Lane's going
What
on
I'm gonna
feel
do.
anyway.
I'm going on feel.
Great. Okay. 1912, the Titanic was built for $7.5 million. So today, if they built the Titanic using just inflation, how much would it cost?
I immediately think about, like, when you talk about like this like huge military or cutting edge military stuff, like, oh, that plane cost $1 billion. Because it's like, of course, this is not innovation as much as just largeness. You using the calculator?
I don't think I can do the
I'd
kind
say,
of math that I need to do.
Tell me the number again.
7.5 million in 1912.
I'm just going to move the decimal and say 70 million.
This calculator is not advanced enough to do the calculation.
75 million.
Because I need to do 7.5 times
75 million.
0.0. 7.5 plus 7.5 times 2 to the
I'm just saying.
a certain number.
You're building a
power.
big boat. These things cost a lot of money.
You
course
just moved the
it's-
decimal?
Yeah, but it's not that. I don't think it's that
7.5
big
million? No.
in today's. I know these are the things we're not supposed to take into account, but like, Titanic is not big by today's standards.
Actually, it's very big by today's standards.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Still
That's what I was told.
bigger? It's bigger than like the biggest cruise ship.
$3.4
today?
billion.
How can that be?
Okay. The answer is 200 million. But the Titanic was a 2,240 passenger cruise ship. And in 2023, a 3,000 passenger cruise ship typically costs $750 million to build. So the answer I was looking for was 200 million, but insanely enough, it costs 750 million.
I got to start writing this stuff down because now
So
I'm
hold,
just
how
a
many
jumble.
people? I was lied to.
2,240.
Yeah, more people, dude.
We
Titanic.
have a really interesting picture to show you about this.
Titanic ain't that big. Where do we see that? So, that's a movie I'll never watch again. It's just there's just too much movie.
It's a longie.
Too much movie. Okay, so this is a straight-on shot of the Titanic being chased down.
By a modern day cruise ship?
Look, see right?
You're totally right, man.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm going to blame this on my my youngest son, because we were talking about the Titanic being at the bottom of the ocean, and he said, "You know that the Titanic was bigger than cruise ships are today?" And I was like, "What happened was he heard a fact and got it completely opposite, and then I took it as gospel." Wow, it's not even close. It's like, look how wide. It's like a hotel on wheels.
Yeah.
Not wheels.
Wheels. Yeah, there's wheels down
There's
at the
wheels
bottom
on-
of the ocean.
Every boat's got wheels. Everybody knows
It's
that.
reached down to the bottom of the. It's like Inspector Gadget mobile. The tragedy of this photo is that the swimming photographer was mauled not just by the Titanic, but then by that cruise ship behind it.
Yeah.
He died. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see the next one.
1980, you could buy a Rolls Royce for $117,000. How much with inflation would that be today?
Okay. 2023 inflation. See, I'm writing all this down now. This is going to help me. 17. If I move the decimal, $117,000 in 1980? That's crazy. And then, see, the best thing I can do is just go with how much I think a rolls cost now, which I don't really know. Is it a $500,000 car? That's a lot to spend on a car. That is just bonkers. There's no way people are spending $500,000 on a car. Like, who would do that? It's so frivolous.
People are spending more than that on cars, bro.
Shepard tell you that?
Yep. People be spending millions of dollars on cars sometimes.
So this is probably $1 million car. I can't go to $1 million.
I went to 666,666.
You bringing the devil back
I
into
put
it?
Satan there. Satan drives.
I
the
went
rolls.
above you based on your help, 750,000.
So the answer is just under 450,000.
Okay.
And
Just with inflation, though.
just with inflation. But in 2023, the Rolls-Royce Phantom does start at $460,000.
Okay.
The
460.
Phantom.
So it's not really that much above inflation, is what you're
Correct.
saying.
Yeah.
460. See,
That's more
I
reasonable.
feel okay with that. It's under $500,000.
I mean, it never made any sense to get a car that expensive, but the thing about getting a car that expensive these days is that the technology in a car changes so quickly now that
It's
you pay like
obsolescence.
$500,000 for a car and then it's got like a CD player in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to get something that, you're going to change your car out faster, or else you're going to change the stereo out. Just change the stereo.
Every time you talk about changing the stereo out, I just think about I would get that crutch-filled magazine, and I would like buy, because when they sent you a radio, they'd send you the harness.
Sent you a radio.
They'd send you everything with it so you could do it yourself. That was fun. I
don't think
messed up my
that happens
truck over it.
anymore. Because think about it. Think about it.
I think it still exists.
No, it
It's-
still
as an
happens.
enthusiast
But think
thing.
about what a car looks like now inside. There's not like
computer
this little
screens.
place where there's a stereo that goes in. It's just like, okay, there's a screen.
What's that dumb ad I keep getting
kinda
on
get it.
TikTok? If you have a screen in your car, then you need to watch this. Scroll. I've never watched it. What are they?
You got a screen in your car?
Oh yeah, I got a screen in my
You should
car.
watch it.
I know. I'm like, this is too much for me.
What do they want? Is they got something better than a screen
I
now?
think it's turning normal screens into Apple CarPlay
AR.
or AR. No, you know what it is? It's so that I did watch it. It's so you can watch like streaming services on your screen. It jailbreaks it because you're not supposed to be able to watch like reruns of Friends while you're driving down the road.
Kids can though.
But not that console right there. That the drive.
Well, when you're stopped, you should be able to watch that stuff.
right, it just comes up.
Like at the
it
stoplight.
pauses.
Let me check in on Ross.
People
and
would be
Rachel.
people would be stopping in just the middle of the road because they wouldn't want to. They were dying to see what happens next.
People read while driving. You seen those?
Well, with the self-driving cars, it's the future.
Oh yeah.
In the future, I will be napping, but I
can't
will not be
wait.
reading in my car.
I can't wait to sleep on the way to work.
All right, Stevie, I'm ready.
1967, Elvis's wedding caused quite a stir for having a wedding cake that cost more than a Chevrolet at $3,200. How much would that same cake cost today?
1967?
$3,200 for a cake. So just with inflation, 1967. Again, I'm not doing math. And then I'm going to put the actual. I definitely think you can get. I think inflation took him to $5,100, but then the actual for a cake like that would be $6,000. People paying $6,000 for a wedding cake these days?
I think
That'd be crazy.
I think it's a little underestimation on your part. I said $44,100, and I did put Satan because Satan likes this number.
$44,000
Satan
for
loves
a
this
cake.
number.
Well, because because we were talking about 67. Now it's 2023.
A lot of time has passed.
I know, but I'm just thinking about what I'd be willing to pay for a cake.
Okay.
Like
So the answer is just over $29,000.
Okay.
But the average wedding cake cost today is somewhere between $300 and $800. But Elvis's wedding cake was like very special. It was six-tiered and it had special things in it. But I just didn't know that the average wedding cake cost today is $300 to $800.
I'm actually kind of surprised that it's that cheap.
that seems cheap to me. I mean, for how many people are you feeding?
Well, I don't know.
300,
But it also is
people?
like if you get it from like a very special bakery and have different things on it, but like just in the U.S. that's the average cost,
Yeah.
not in L.A.
I feel
LA,
like if
I'm
you
sure
got
it's not true.
your grandma to make a big old chocolate sheet cake for a wedding of 200 people, she's gonna spend about $800 on that thing. Just I mean, just think about it. That's a big sheet cake. You got to feed 200 people, man.
Well, no.
Multiple sheet cakes.
Yeah, I don't think you could do a singular sheet cake.
No, I think what they do is they do different cakes and then they stack them.
And then they do the.
Have you seen wedding cakes? They're
fondant.
kind of stacked.
Fondant.
Yeah, they're not. It's not just like it's not a pig picking cake.
It's not like a largest cake in the world, like from a Guinness. The way
Right.
they would just make things really long.
They tend to stack wedding cakes.
I love those pictures from the Guinness Book of World Records.
That's my least favorite part of a wedding, the cake part. Well, you know what? I take that back because that means I can leave.
Yeah, going to the wedding.
'Cause
is
when
the
you-
worst
when-
When's the
part.
last time you went to a wedding? 'Cause
When you go to
I haven't been to
when you
one.
go to the reception, it's like, well, should we get out of here? It's like, well, they haven't served the cake yet, so we'll stay to the cake. So even though I don't like the cake and I never eat the cake because I just don't like cake, I do like the appearance of cake because it means I can leave.
Oh, you went to like your cousin's
I
wedding.
went to my cousin's wedding. It was a great wedding. It was outdoors.
Yeah, I'm in like a dip right now where no one's getting married, but then I got all these nieces and nephews that are like entering their 20s, and so next thing you know, I'll be going to so many weddings, eating so much cake.
You're going to be the life of the party.
Yeah. I love cake.
Okay, this one's crazy to me. 1915. It cost $150 for a year's tuition at Harvard. So how much, just based on inflation, should it cost right now?
So inflation.
Okay. For a semester or for a
1950.
year?
A year.
1915, it was $150.
It should probably cost.
I don't know, man. I just. Here's the thing that happens to my brain. It's like, oh, you need to think hard and you need to apply math. And I'm just like, it's easier to just give a blind, stupid guess than to like try really hard and still get a stupid guess. So, like,
Yeah, don't try.
the psychology here for me is that I'd rather look dumb without trying than dumb with trying. You know? Therefore,
Did you just give us a little insight into your strategy?
I think so.
Okay.
So with inflation, we might be at. I don't see. This is what I don't know. I don't understand inflation. And I also don't understand the actual cost of Harvard.
You probably know the actual cost. It's about as expensive as college can get for a year. You don't know what that is? I mean, you got kids about in college and one that's about to start college.
I'm embarrassed to say that no, I don't.
Okay.
So I said it should be 20 grand, but it's 100 grand.
I think it's probably about 11 grand. I don't know. Harvard might be it depends on if you're including tuition and fees and like meal plans. You might get up to 100,000, but
It's just tuition. It's not room
Oh, I
and
included
board.
the meal plan.
I'm just saying tuition.
So with inflation, it should be $4,500 a year.
Wow.
But it is $54,000 a year without room and board and other things.
Oh,
Okay. Well, we included that.
really?
Yeah.
That's a steal.
You know, that's crazy.
Well, the reputation that it's garnered over the years is just continued to,
And it's crazy because they keep going up.
it's a market. There's market forces beyond inflation, Stevie.
Oh, man.
All right.
They keep going up, man.
I'm exhausted. Can we quit? Too much math.
Let's take a nap in our self-driving car. Watch the Mythical Society Stand Up Special, now available for all degrees on mythicalsociety.com.